Hello everyone, I'm Dan Filgreen, and this is Shell Point Today for Tuesday, June 18th. On today's show, we explore the challenges of pre-planning for funerals and other end-of-life decisions. Dr. Marilyn Kole from Lee Physician Group will share her experience in disease management, and we'll look back at the CMA's Worldwide General Council meeting, which took place last week in Tampa. But first, some important news about the island swimming pool. We are planning for the construction of a new aquatic center on the island, which means the island swimming pool in its current state will be closed permanently. The island pool's last day is today, and after today, the pool will be closed. Construction fences will also be put up around the site, closing off the road between the pool and the guest house, which means if you need to get to the Legacy Foundation or the Manatee Room, you'll have to go the long way around. This construction will be going on through the end of the year. So, what will you swimmers do in the meantime? We have three options for you. First, the Island Health Club pool has received permitting that allows it to operate during the construction, so you're always welcome to utilize that pool for exercise. If it's lap swimming you're interested in, then the Woodlands pool is a great choice. And the Eagles Preserve pool has a little bit of everything, including a hot tub. You can access any of these pools by using the Blue Route bus, which departs the island's administration circle on the 15 and 45 of every hour, starting at 7 a.m. Once again, the island swimming pool is closing permanently tomorrow. So, today's your final day to get in one last swim. We also have this note from Resort Services. This afternoon, we have a Get to Know Your Neighbor event happening for everyone who has lived in the Midwest. Now, where's the Midwest? Well, it's right about there. Hey, we're not leaving anyone out. You Midwesterners know who you are. This social event will include some fun and games, as well as light refreshments, and it's free. So come one, come all, Midwesterners, to the Get to Know Your Neighbor event, happening today at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. There's also a free breakfast tour event this morning for those who have questions about assisted living, as well as enjoying a light breakfast on us and getting a first-hand tour of all these facilities have to offer. The first breakfast tour event happens this morning at the King's Crown at 10 a.m. And next week, the Arbor hosts its own breakfast tour event on Thursday, June 27th at 9 a.m. You must reserve your spot by calling our assisted living hotline at 454-2077. Once again, if you have questions about this or anything else regarding assisted living, call our assisted living hotline at 454-2077. Learning about assisted living is a great way to manage your future health needs. But what if that future includes diseases like cancer, heart disease, or COPD? There are ways of managing, or even better, preventing diseases like this. Come find out how at a Health Connections class next Monday, June 24th at 10:15 a.m. Here is a preview.
Disease management can often take you in uncharted waters that you don't know which path to take. Well, Dr. Kole will be here to do a Shell Point Health Connections program on Monday, June 24th at 10:15 in the morning in the Manatee Room. This is a room location change since the social center will be getting its renovations. Dr. Kole, thank you for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure, and I would like to welcome all of you to come to our talk. And the talk is really for you, geared around disease management, about diabetes, heart disease, lung disease, things that you're interested in, that you have questions about. I'm an internal medicine, pulmonary, and critical care physician at Lee Physician Group. I do a lot of change management with physicians and a lot more administration these days after 20-some years in practice, but certainly keep up to date and would be happy to share a lot of information with you.
It's going to be very informative, and not only just for those that have been diagnosed, but you also encourage those who maybe have a family history of chronic disease or have a loved one that can come and get some more information, correct?
Exactly. So if your family member, your neighbor, or you yourself have questions about lung disease, about heart disease, about strokes, about warning signs for strokes, and really just how do I manage the complexity of disease today, I think those things we could cover in that lecture that would be very helpful for everyone.
I was sitting in one of our support groups a couple of weeks ago, and a resident said he finally figured out he sat down and put all the pieces together of all of his information and made a little book for himself to track everything that he can take to each doctor's appointment. And he said it was so empowering to put all of that together. He felt that he was managing his life instead of everything else managing him.
And that's a wonderful thing to do. You go from specialist to specialist, and sometimes primary care doctors really have questions. So the first doctor tells you one thing, the second doctor tells you something else. It may mean the same thing, but with all this information, how do you decide about what course of therapy to take, what course of treatment? And sometimes it's confusing. It's confusing for our families, for physicians themselves. Really try to make good decisions about what you want or what you need, and ask the right questions.
Wow, we are lucky to have you coming to Shell Point to share all your knowledge. And one of the things before we started taping and rolling the film, you were really saying you encourage people to come with questions and think about things, because you've got it right up here in your head, and even though you have a planned speech, you really want to make this personal and try to answer as many questions as possible.
Exactly, because general information is great, but most people really have one concern or one issue that they're puzzled about. And so if you bring those, I'd be happy to stay. I'm happy to answer questions and just try to give good advice about what about if I have 4 medicines, who do I ask? Do I ask the lung doctor, the heart doctor, the stomach doctor? Which doctor would be able to give me all that information?
Wow. Dr. Kole, we are very happy to have you at Shell Point, and we're lucky to have you in the Southwest Florida community as well, putting all these pieces together for us. We look forward to your presentation. And that presentation is going to take place on Monday, June 24th at 10:15 a.m. in the Manatee Room. If you would like to sign up, you can do so at either service desk. And Dr. Kole, thanks once again, and hopefully we can make those rough waters not so rough for those that are dealing with some tough issues and help you manage your disease. For Dr. Kole, I'm Mary Franklin. Have a great, wonderful, healthy day.
Another aspect of planning that is a fact of life here at Shell Point involves end-of-life planning. Do you have funeral plans and other end-of-life choices? Delaying those plans can make it difficult for everybody. But where do you start? How about a free Legacy Foundation seminar called Pre-Planning? It happens tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. Let's learn more from Tim Stephenson.
Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Kole, and I'm here today with Timothy Stephenson, Executive Director of our Legacy Foundation here at Shell Point. And that's really important about what we're going to talk about today, that we're here at Shell Point, isn't it, Tim?
It really is.
Now, we're talking about pre-planning, and a lot of things come to mind when we hear the words pre-planning. We're planning pre-something, before something.
Yes. I've asked Tim Huck from Harvey Engelhardt Funeral Home to come in and talk with us about the pre-planning process. I first of all think of the pre-planning process as a gift. It's a hard gift, albeit, but it's one that allows our spouse or our children or our loved ones or those who help us at a time in their lives when they're going to be at the highest emotion. They've lost someone they love. We give them a gift that says, I took care of it for you, and it becomes a love gift for those that are part of our lives. And I like it from that perspective.
That's a good way to look at it. There's another perspective.
C.S. Lewis was the one who famously said, aim at heaven and you get earth thrown in, aim at earth and you get neither. And so there's a recognition on our part that we're simply passing through this process, and it's very natural for our faith to come and embrace this and say, then planning for it is not an unnatural thing. And so it becomes a part of our experience in not going alone, becomes a part of a gifting process to those we love. And I think in some ways it can even be seen as an expression of our faith that is just a part of the journey.
Wonderful.
And we often pre-plan a journey.
Well, again, a wonderful legacy seminar coming up tomorrow in the Grand Cypress Room. Not only will Timothy Stephenson be there, but also Tim Hawk, Funeral Director, Harvey Engelhardt Funeral and Cremation Services, a friend of Shell Point.
Last week, the Christian and Missionary Alliance held its biennial worldwide General Council meeting in Tampa, Florida. Contingents from Shell Point and the Village Church were in attendance, including Jerry Nanfelt of Eagles Preserve, whose husband Peter was once president of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. Jerry's going to share the highlights of this Council Week at the Global Outreach event tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. in the church hospitality room. Let's get a preview.
Hi, I'm Dotty Morrison, and I'm here to invite you to the Global Outreach meeting this Wednesday at 10:15 in the hospitality room of the church. Our guest speaker is Jerry Nanfelt, and she's here to give us a preview. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you, Dotty. Glad to be here.
You are going to talk about your time at council. I am not still aware of all the workings of the CMA. Tell me what council is and how often it meets.
Okay. General Council is a meeting, of course, of the CMA churches workers from around the country. We have about 2,000 churches, so delegates come and pastors come, and workers are pastors, are international workers, and laity. So they all come to council every 2 years for fellowship. It's wonderful fellowship, encouraging to the younger pastors and workers. And they come for the fellowship, they come for continued education, and then they come for inspirational growth in their own spiritual lives, as well as taking care of the affairs of the church.
Okay. I imagine workers who are constantly giving and teaching don't often take time to receive.
Exactly. Okay. It's just a wonderful time to be the receiver.
Now, since Peter was a former president of the CMA, you've been before, and you were missionaries, so you obviously went there. How many times have you been to council?
Oh, my goodness. We've served with the Christian Missionary Alliance Church for over 50 years now. And so I have been to council dozens of times over the years with Peter.
All right.
And
so you'll be renewing a lot of acquaintances?
Absolutely. Fellowship and seeing friends. It'll be great.
Yeah. But you told me this is the first time for something for you.
To be a real delegate and to vote for our new president.
Because after this, there'll be a new president of the CMA.
Yes. Okay. Our new president has his tenure up at this council, and this is an important thing which we'll be doing this council, to elect a new president.
So when you talk to us this week, you'll have all this scoop on what happened at council.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, I'm hoping to give a report, an encouraging report of what God is doing through the Christian Missionary Alliance.
And you'll also be giving us up-to-the-minute reports of what international workers that are there are telling about what God is doing in many parts of the world. That will be so exciting.
Yes.
So exciting. Tell me about the first time you came home after being an international worker, and the first time you came for home assignment and you went to council. You told me that you had an interesting response. Tell me about that.
Oh, it was an interesting response. We had served for 6 years with the CMA, and I had never been to a general council. I had no idea what they were like. And so we were home on furlough. We went to the general council. And those 4 years before I got there, I had lived and served in the jungle of Borneo, Kalimantan, Indonesia. So we had been isolated for 4 years.
Yes.
And so we got there to council. And when I walked in, Dotty, there were these hundreds of people in this large convention hall. And it was like, oh my, this is what I'm a part of. Oh. It was so exciting to see the big picture of the ministry and not just feel like you were a little part of it. That's one wonderful thing that council does. Gives us, all its workers, a picture of all of us together, which is so precious.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm sure that lots of people will want to come this Wednesday. Some will want to hear about their friends and people you've met, and others like me who really don't know much about the inner workings of the denomination may just come out of curiosity to see, because every church denomination has its own way of electing and doing things, and it'd be interesting to hear about it. We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you Wednesday morning in the hospitality room. Come a little early for refreshments, and at 10:15 we begin. And if you know Jerry, you know it's going to be an interesting and informative and fun talk.
It's time now to preview all of Tuesday's happenings from Resort Services, followed by your Academy news, menus, and church news.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, this is Suzanne Savada, and we're going to go over today's happenings with you. We're going to start bright and early at 7:15 with a Health Connections class, Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That'll be in the Health Club on the island. At 8 o'clock, the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis will be down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. 8:15, the Stamp Ministry will be down in the Stamp Room in the tunnel. 9:15 is always a busy time, and today we have open painting in the art studio. And we also have a 9:15 shuffleboard game down at the shuffleboard courts. At 9:30, match play mixed doubles tennis will be at the tennis courts. And then we move to 10 o'clock where you'll find a breakfast tour at the King's Crown. That'll be in the community room. Call 454-2077 to RSVP. At 10:15, you'll find Through the Bible Study Group in the Osprey Room on the island. And 10:30, we have the Caregiver Support Group Therapy and Memory Care Group on the second floor of the Rehab Center. Sign up is required. That concludes the morning. Suzanne will continue into the afternoon.
Thanks, Bev. We'll start our afternoon off at 12:30 with Mixed Progressive Bridge in the game room at the Woodlands. At 1 o'clock, we have Do You Know Your Neighbor? Midwesterners, and this will be in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. At 1:15, the Knitters Group will be in the Osprey Room on the island. We also have the Rollicking Recorders in the Tarpon Room, and the Women's Prayer Group meeting in the Hospitality Room of the Village Church. At 1:30, the Stamp Ministry will meet in the Stable Room at the Woodlands. And at 2:45, we have a Health Connections, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club on the island. This is closed. And at 4:30, we have a trip, Buca di Beppo, a dinner outing. Court pickups will begin at 4:30 on the island, 4:40 at the Woodlands, and 4:50 at Eagles Preserve. Sign up is required for this trip. That wraps up your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here for Wednesday.
Hi, I'm Terry Kole with your Academy information for Tuesday. At 9:45, Review and Practice Basic Computer Skills continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. And at 10 o'clock, Muscat, the jewel of the Persian Gulf, will take place in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Sign up is required, and you can sign up right at the door. We have new classes coming tomorrow. Pin Weaving for Textile Art by Sharon Terrastini of Lakewood, and the Legacy Seminar Pre-Planning. Take time to make end-of-life decisions. So you've got Windows 8, now what are you going to do with it? By Floyd Jamieson of Parkwood.
Menus for Tuesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is baked ham with scalloped potatoes and peas and carrots. The dinner special is the stir-fry bar for $11.95, and the soup of the day is corn chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy a teriyaki chicken sandwich with pineapple and a cup of soup for $6.95. The dinner special is Bayou Catfish with french fries and coleslaw for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are shrimp scampi for $13.95 or a grilled pork chop for $14.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
I'm Randy Woods, and as we end the season here, I'm reminded of what a great time we have had here in the Season of Praise as we shared with various artists, many singers, instrumentalists, and dramatic presentations that have been part of the Season Praise concert series here this year at the Village Church. Well, the last program was on Sunday night here, April 21st, and we appreciated so much the artistry of Nan Gurley and Bonnie Keene as they presented a very unique drama entitled Women Who Dare to Believe. And as they took many vignettes that they have written from their studies of the Scriptures, they have looked at various women throughout the Old and New Testament and have put their story in a very contemporary style as they've illustrated the experience that these women have had in their faith as they have trusted in God. Well, I don't know about you, but as the ladies introduced their ministry, they challenged us to think of times when maybe we have felt nameless or unknown. Perhaps you have felt that way. Be encouraged that you're not alone. There are many men and women in the Bible who are nameless. And in particular, there are some women in the Bible who are referred to as certain women. In chapter 8 of the Gospel of John, we read about that certain woman who was caught in adultery. And in Matthew 9, we read about a certain woman who was ill for years. Well, both of these women were changed when they encountered Jesus Christ. They were healed, forgiven, and changed for life. Watch and listen as Bonnie Keene and Nan Gurley dramatically portray the interaction and discussion of two certain women as they share about their interaction with Jesus. Here's a vignette of two women, women who dare to believe.
Are you saving this?
Oh, no, go ahead, help yourself.
Thanks. Ooh, great weather.
Oh, yeah. You live around here?
Used to. What about you?
Well, for about the past 12 years, I've lived on the outskirts of town.
Oh. Sorry. I've met someone.
So have I. Well, tell me, what's he like?
Ooh, unlike any man I've ever met.
The man I met is incredible. I mean, and believe me, I was desperate. I was so sick. I'd spent all my money from my savings. I'd seen every doctor, acupuncturist, psychic. I thought if I had to spit and tinkle one more time, there'd be nothing left of me.
Oh, you were desperate.
Everybody wanted an appointment, but I got one.
Well, how'd you get in to see him?
Well, you could say I was a little pushy. I made it happen.
Well, what's his secret? Is it surgery, drugs, vitamins, special diet?
One touch.
Oh, chiropractor.
One touch of his robe.
I've heard of you. I know who you are. You're that certain woman.
You may call me a certain woman. He calls me daughter.
Oh.
What about your guy? What does he call you?
Well, he didn't exactly say my name. He just saved my life.
How did you meet him?
I was in what you'd call a compromising position when a whole posse of church leaders burst into the room. Next thing I knew, I was face down in the dirt in the middle of town. A crowd gathered.
I know who you are. You're the woman who was caught in the act of
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. That's just not me anymore. I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I wanted to stop, but I didn't know how. I was afraid. But he changed all that.
Don't you just love it when he puts those religious know-it-alls in their place?
That wasn't even the best part. He didn't condemn me. He saw the real me, and he forgave me. He gave me another chance.
Just like he did for me.
Yes.
Met him.
Met him.
Healed.
Forgiven.
Found. In his eyes, I saw a heart of mercy.
Burning new life into mine. No more scarlet shame, no more secrets.
No more silent pain, I am free. This man is God.
No more silent
shame. No more condemnation or hiding.
No more hopeless fear, I am free.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Paul Yakovich takes us behind the scenes of the Facility Operations Department. We'll also meet Harry and Ella Wolf, who this week are sharing their musical talents, as well as those of their kids and grandkids. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Tuesday, June 18th. I'm Dan Filgreen, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.